Too Reckless here, back here with another reaction. Today we're reacting to Michael Jackson Talks to Oprah, part 3 of 4.
And so, when you hear all these things about you, and there have been more than we are
I've
even
never had my cheekbones done, never had my eyes done, never had all that, my lips done and all this stuff. They just go too far. I mean, it's crazy. But this is something that happens like every day.
And if you don't know where we're at, if you go watch part 2, at the end of part 2, they're talking about the plastic surgery and stuff like that, that the media just goes crazy over, even though a lot of Hollywood and like actors, musicians, everything get it done.
The majority of Hollywood, not only Hollywood, the majority of people I know have done it. But they're not in the tabloids, but unfortunately they put Michael in.
With other people.
Are you pleased now with the way you look?
I'm never pleased with anything. I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
It's part of who I am.
And so, when you look in the mirror now, and the image that looks back at you, are there days when you say, well, I kind of like this, or I like my hair today, or
I'm never
I think
pleased
I'm
with
pretty
myself.
cute today?
No, I'm pretty cute today. No, I try not to look in the mirror. I really do, because I'm never happy with what I see. So I go on with my work and get it done.
I have to ask you this. So many mothers in my audience have said to please ask you this question.
Yeah.
Why do you always grab your crotch?
Why do I grab my crotch?
Yeah, why? We think you got a thing with your crotch going on here.
I think it happens subliminally. When I dance, if you're a dancer, you know, you're just interpreting the sounds in the accompaniment of the music. If there's a driving bass, you become the bass. If there's a cello, if there's a string, you become that. So you become the emotion of what that sound is. Okay? So if I'm doing a movement and I go bam and I grab myself, it's the music that compels me to do it. It's not saying I'm getting ready to grab down there and it's not a great play. You don't think about it, it just happens. Sometime I'll look back at the footage and I'll go, did I do that?
Yeah.
So I'm slave to the rhythm.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think the alarm's going off in the house. I don't know why. But we're going to fix it in a minute. We're in live television, so we're going to go to break. These things happen. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Are y'all ready for the jam?
With the glove, Michael Jackson was honored with a star today on Hollywood's Walk of Fame.
If Elvis took him into the stores in the 50s and the Beatles did it in the 60s, Michael Jackson is the man of the 80s.
If Michael Jackson has a trophy room, he's going to have it enlarged, because last night he came home with another armload of hardware.
And the winner is Billie Jean Michael Jackson.
Off the wall, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson.
Fisher, the awards speak for themselves, but awards, they sit up on the walls, and just to me, like the YouTube and the things that we're still able to see, that is the reality of Michael Jackson. That, like, his brilliance, and everything about him.
And also, like, I got a glimpse of seeing what commercials and when was this taken, you'd say?
90s.
90s. I got to see what a 90s commercial looked like too.
Yeah, and I thought my opinion is, like, when somebody asks somebody like an entertainer like Michael that's a dancer, like, I'm not a dancer, obviously, and so I don't know the grooves and what that kind of stuff. You feel the music.
You just got to flow with the music.
Yeah, and so that's why Oprah doesn't understand that.
When you have broken all those records, when you have the #1 album ever sold, the #2 album ever sold, when you've broken every record there is to break, when you have become an icon in the industry, is there always the pressure to do something bigger and something better?
Oh, gee, that is something. It makes it harder each time to follow up. So you try to be as original as you can be without thinking about statistics. Just go from the soul and from the heart.
And so when you think of that, what do? You go, you meditate, you think, well, I will now do the Super Bowl. I will now.
No. I just create out of my heart, really.
I want to tell everybody, too, since we're back and we're live, we weren't prepared for, and I know this house probably wasn't prepared for all the lights that are here. And what happened was that the smoke alarm went off from all the lights that are around, and that's what happened, and that's why we went to break. So I wanted to also make it clear, because this is another rumor that's starting, that the only way I could have gotten this interview was that I contractually agreed to call you the King of Pop. And I would just like to say to the world, Michael did not tell me to call him the King of Pop. As a matter of fact, I haven't called you the King of Pop once here. And I frankly think that the King of Pop is probably too limiting a title for you. I mean, I think that most of the world would agree that you're no doubt one of the greatest entertainers the world has ever seen. So you would be King of Entertainment, or Liz Taylor said you were King of Pop, Rock, and Soul. Where did this whole notion that you proclaimed yourself King of Pop come from?
Well, I didn't proclaim myself to be anything. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be who I am. King of Pop was first said by Elizabeth Taylor on one of the award shows.
As a matter of fact, we have that. Let's roll that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 1989 Heritage Award and Sammy Davis Jr. Award recipient, and in my estimation, the true king of pop, rock, and soul, Mr. Michael Jackson.
And that's where this all started?
Yes, and then fans, all the stadiums that we play, they bring big banners that say the King of Pop, and jackets that say the King of Pop, and t-shirts that say the King, and they chant it outside my hotel, King of Pop, King of Pop, King. So it just became something that just, you know, that happens all over the world.
Happened.
Yeah.
But you didn't tell me to call you King of Pop.
No.
Yeah.
Why would I tell you to call me King?
I've been calling you Michael.
Yeah, I think the press loves to just start trouble like that. I mean, again, do not read the tabloids, please. It's crazy.
Do you go out? Do you date?
Yes.
Who do you date?
Well, right now it's Brooke Shields. Well, we try not to just be everywhere and go it's mostly at home. She'll come over, I'll go to her house, because I don't like going out in the public.
Have you ever been in love?
Yeah.
With Brooke Shields?
Yes, and another girl.
And another girl? Yes. I'm going to ask you this, and it's embarrassing for me to ask you this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Are you a virgin?
How could you ask me that question?
I just want to know. I want to know.
I'm a gentleman.
You're a gentleman.
I'm a gentleman.
So
I'm a gentleman.
Just right there, at this moment in this interview, at 50 years old, you have come full circle in the American media. 2 minutes ago in this interview, she complimented Michael about, like, the King of Pop is not a big enough title, which I think most people in this world would agree to. But then 2 minutes later, are you a virgin? Like, I mean, who asked that? The American media asked that. And if you're from other countries, put in the comments below, does your media go out of line like that? Because
I see what people are talking about how this interview hurt Oprah and all that. Because, I mean, that's a personal question. You don't ask people that.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't understand it. Like, full circle American media right there. King of Pop's not big enough for you, but hold on, wait a minute. You know, I just don't, I'm going to fall into the negative track next. I don't know.
So, okay, I would interpret that to mean, that means that you believe that a lady is a lady, and therefore...
That's something that's private. I mean, you know, shouldn't be spoken about openly. You can call me old-fashioned if you want, but, you know, to me that's very personal.
So you're not going to answer it?
I'm embarrassed.
So you're not going to answer it. Well, we would like to know whether or not there is a possibility that you are going to marry one day and have children.
I would feel that my life isn't complete if I do not, because I adore the family life. I adore children, and I adore that whole thing. And I would love to. That's one of my dreams, but I couldn't right now because I'm married. I am married, but to my work. I'm married to my music. And it has to be that closeness in order to do the kind of work that I want to do. And
so what kind of woman makes you, I know in the video, wait a minute, no, in the video we're going to see later, we're premiering the world video, but you say there's a line where you talk about being quenched. So what kind of person does that for you?
Quench my desire.
Yeah, quench my desire.
Yeah. Well, Brooke, I've always liked her. And when I was little, I used to stay with Diana Ross. Me and my brothers, we stayed with her for years. I've never said this, I always had a crush on her.
You did?
Yes.
I heard too, this was another one of those rumors, that you had proposed to Elizabeth Taylor at some point?
Elizabeth Taylor is gorgeous, beautiful, and she still is today.
Yeah.
And I'm crazy about her.
Yeah, but did you propose to her?
I would like to have.
Yeah. Well, Elizabeth Taylor is here. Liz, can we bring Liz in now? Liz had said that she wanted to be here to hold your hand through this. You don't look like you need your hand held.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth Taylor!
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Have a seat.
Nice
Have
to
a
see-
seat.
Thank you.
Did Michael ever propose to you?
No! And I never proposed to him.
Never did. What do you think is most misunderstood about Michael Jackson, Liz?
All the things you mentioned. He is the least weird man I've ever known. He is highly intelligent, shrewd, intuitive, understanding, sympathetic, generous, to almost a fault of himself. And he just, if he has any eccentricities, it's that he is like larger than life, and some people just can't accept that or face it or understand it. His talent on stage, why I called him the king of pop, rock, soul, music, entertainment, whatever.
Yes.
There's nobody that can come near him.
Yeah.
Nobody can dance like that, write the lyrics like that, the music, cause the kind of excitement that he does.
And why do you think you all are such friends? What has brought this kind of bond? Because people tried to make this be weird.
Well, it's not. I mean, our childhoods are very similar. And we have that from the very beginning in common. I was a child star at 9, had an abusive father, and that kind of brought us close together in the very beginning.
And what is it, I'm going to ask Michael this question later on, but what is it you most want the world to know about him?
What a wonderful, giving, caring, generous man he is, and how good he is.
And he's funny too.
Oh, he's wildly funny.
He can crack some jokes, I tell you.
Yeah, but he's a good man.
Thank you for joining us too, because
That's
I know you
fine.
didn't want to be on camera at first, but thank you.
I mean, like just the general public, like her, she's like Michael Jackson. He's a caring, sympathetic, good man, right?
What?
But all the media tries to do is just try to look at the negatives of everything. Like they don't look at the positive. Everything has to be negative, being Debbie Downers.
Well, you know, they beat the media beats both sides, Fisher. You know, 1 second they're on your side, the next second, you know, they're stabbing you in the back. Now, Elizabeth Taylor, she's in Hollywood too. You've
Yes.
probably never heard of her. I don't know if you have or not. And
She was the lady that told him he was a pop.
yes, exactly. And you know, they were very close. And you know, when I saw that, and Michael was standing there beside Elizabeth Taylor, you know, when I look at Michael, I almost think, and maybe I'm thinking about myself here, because when I'm around people, Fisher will tell you, I'm like, well, who's going to get me next? And it's almost like looking into Michael as like so many people were so negative about him, like he's just waiting for the next, you know, he's waiting for the next ambush, regardless of who it may be. Because
whether it could be somebody as close as Elizabeth Taylor to him,
Yeah.
or it could be somebody as distant, I guess, as Oprah was to him.
And I'm not saying that he thought she was going to do it. I'm just saying it almost looks like he's waiting for it. And that is so sad because, but I will, you know, if Michael was here today or if I could talk to him, I would tell him, be glad you're not, you know, be glad that you have, you know, went on to your resting place because in
It's got
2022 and 2022. Like it is.
It would have been Michael Jackson slander.
Oh, I mean, it would have just been. It is crazy how crazy this world's got about that kind of stuff. But anyway, be waiting for part number 4. It will be coming out in a few days. If you like these types of reactions, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to hit that subscribe button for a lot more Michael Jackson, a lot of other 90s hits. And check out one of these other 2 videos, probably part 1 and 2 of the Michael Jackson interview. And check us out on Instagram. Like us on Instagram. Peace.